What's going on, everybody? C4 here. Welcome back to episode 32 of the Las Vegas Raiders franchise mode. We are coming out the tails of one of the worst collapses in Madden history, as we had two times at the end of the first half and at the end of the game to try to win it. And here we are. Here we are in the offseason with no Super Bowl title. No, we got a playoff win. But going out in the AFC Championship, ending this Cinderella story of a run. Our team's not bad, 83 overall, but there are a lot better teams than us in the AFC. We overperformed, but ultimately it comes down to, I think, if we had to come up with an answer, it's the inexperience of Trevor Lawrence. He might be the next Peyton Manning. He might be this, he might be that, but he was a rookie quarterback, and when the lights were right on him, when they shined the brightest, his clock management went to shit. John Gruden clearly gave Trevor Lawrence complete control of the offense, and sometimes that works. Sometimes he makes ridiculous plays. Sometimes he carries us to a win. Other times his inexperience is highlighted on full display, and I think that's what we saw there, and I hope that doesn't define Trevor Lawrence. I don't think it will. I think he's going to be able to bounce back, and next year he's going to be bigger, badder, better than ever. But for the time being, it definitely does sting, and we need to ensure that the confidence stays at an all-time high for Trevor Lawrence. So maybe we get him a weapon. Maybe we do something in free agency to try to help him out here just a little bit. As John Ross will be coming back from injury very, very shortly, so we're going to be at full strength. But it stings. It definitely does sting. So coming out, we entered the offseason. This is going to be probably most likely the last offseason that is not a live stream. So I had to get a lot of feedback from you guys. There was 3 resounding comments. First up, what we will address is almost everyone wanted me to give Gareon Conley a star dev. This is the second year that he's had 7 interceptions, yet he's yet to grow in dev trait versus someone like, you look at Vernon Hargreaves has a star dev. What? How'd he get that but not Gareon Conley? So I will agree. And it's not that overpowered. It's not like we're giving him a superstar ability or anything crazy like that. It's going to help out his development a little bit. But I think a guy that has 18, I think he's 18 picks over the last 3 years. I think he definitely deserves to grow in dev trade. And considering he was DB of the year, how does that not give a dev trade? That's the second time he's been, he didn't win it the first year. He was tied for picks. The first year he got 7, but he got 7 last year and got DB of the year. The fact they didn't grow in dev trade, that's really, really unfair. So I agree with that. Number 2 was everyone was, saying I'm the worst Madden player of all time. And that could very well be true with my clock management skills. All I want is just open-ended question. Just an open-ended question. Either I'm the worst Madden player of all time, or I like to make my series interesting. That's all I'm going to say about that. And lastly, I wanted you guys to help me set up our big board here for free agency. We have $31 million, but we have a lot of whales on this roster that, even if we're going to be looking pretty tight salary cap-wise next season, we have some guys that are definitely, half on our offensive line. We could probably free up like $20 million worth of salary cap just there. Gabe Jackson has a horrendous contract. There's no guarantee he's on our team to start next season, depending on how this draft goes. Trent Brown, even though he's good, gave up like 20-some sacks last season. If he does that again, I don't think there's any way we can justify his $20-some million cap hit every single season. You look on the defensive side. LaMarcus Joyner's getting older. We have guys that, Reed Blankenship has a great dev trait. Steven Denmark has some upside that could take over for Joyner if he regresses this upcoming season. Even though he's really, really good for us last year, there's some salary cap to be freed up there. You look at Darren Lee. He's been solid. He actually came on really, really strong near the end of the season, but he hasn't really lived up to the expectations. He is being our biggest free agency signing to date, which goes, that could be an issue within itself. We went really, really big on Keanu Neal last season. We were unable to land him. So this year, I asked you guys to shape my draft board. I want you to come in with targets that you think would be good. I highlighted a couple. I had 3 big ones. We'll save one for last. One was Jair Alexander. I'm just a huge fan of him. I think if I had to list my top 5 corners in National Football League, he's probably making that list. I really, really did rate him when he was coming out of Louisville. I thought he was the best corner in that class. And, the bids on him are fairly generous, but I think given the fact that we have 4 star dev corners all in their prime, it wouldn't be the best way to spend our salary cap because we still have a limited budget. $31 million is not bad. You can make some moves with that, but that's, we don't have like $75, $80 million like the Colts or anything crazy. Another big bid was, I actually got some shouts for Olukun because he does fit the mold, but he's 27. I feel like you know, he's 27.84. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is 24.78. While the dev trait looks really, really good. I think over the next 3 years, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson will be able to surpass 84 if we give him the time to grow and develop. And he's been really, really solid for us. So while it's a good shout, I think at the time being, considering there's already 2 big bids on him, it's not the best way to spend our money. We have Isaiah Wynn, 26, star dev tackle. Again, pretty damn expensive, to be honest with you. 82 overall. This was a top shout. But I think we can maybe get a budget option here in Connor Williams, the guard, formerly of the Dallas Cowboys. I think we could probably slide him out to tackle and have some decent success there. So we'll see, 25, 26. We'll offer him a 3-year deal, maybe around $22 million, somewhere in that range. See if that's good enough to get it across the line. I mean, ultimately, you have to remind we are using, let's go 22.5. We are using my custom draft classes, so I'm not going to be able to cheese the draft for offensive linemen like we do like for some of the rebuilds and stuff like that. So, and I know for a fact I don't overrate my prospects. I try to have my draft class prospects to be the same as what you get from a consistent Madden generated class. So, you know, it's more so paramount now that we spend our money effectively on free agents on the offensive line. I think 25, he's 80. He doesn't have the dev trait, but he costs literally half as much, almost, as what Isaiah Wynn would get. So it's no guarantee that we'll land him. We have not landed any of our big free agents, but that's one. And number 2 is Leighton Vander Esch. I mean, I'm a huge fan of him. I think he's an outstanding linebacker. He's a superstar X factor right out the gate. So let's see. Starting with a 5-year, 110. Where does that put us? That puts us in 4th place. I mean, we're going to have to overpay to get him. How much do we have to overpay is the question. I feel like we'll go 17 and 8. $8 million bonus money. I mean, we're in Las Vegas. We got to be able to get this one over the line. 5-year, 125 mil gives us the number 1 bid, which is 15 better. Then let's make it 130. You know what? I am that annoyed at everything that happened the last year with Keanu O'Neal. We need to make this happen. I'm going to give him the max that we can to give him 130. And if that does not bring someone like Leighton Vander Esch to our squad, I have no idea what will bring him and land him. Actually, you know what I'm going to do on top of this? We have some good XP here for John Gruden. I'm going to bring it to you live. We are going to go all in. We're going to take our XP here, and we're going to get some linebacker free agency influence. Maybe if we had that, we would have locked Keanu O'Neal down. But if with that, with being in a market of Las Vegas, was being as competitive, a game away from the Super Bowl versus the other 2 teams, Denver Broncos and Cincinnati Bengals, that are nowhere near the caliber of team we are, nowhere near, you know, at a crossroads. You know, those teams are trying to rebuild. We are ready to win right now. All those factors, and just landing that linebacker negotiation package does not bring Vander Esch in with a bid that is 14 points better than the 2nd place team. I don't think there's any way. Like I will commit to, if we don't land Vander Esch, if we go 0-2 the last 2 years on elite prospects. Last year Keanu O'Neal, this year Vander Esch. We're gonna have to pull some Minnesota Viking crazy boat cruise or something like that as a recruitment tour. Think like Blue Mountain State to try to land some of these players. But speaking of Blue Mountain State, I want our Thad Castle, Leighton Vander Esch, right now. I want him so bad. I want him so bad. And we can spend this kind of money on a premier defensive player because we have Trevor Lawrence on a rookie deal for the next 3 seasons. It's going to give us incredible cap flexibility. Fingers crossed. Come on. Give me a great player for once. Actually, it's going to be better for me to give you the reaction live. So let's go. Week 2, we have 2 big top bids for Connor Williams and Leighton Vander Esch, trying to make a swoop for 2 talented former Dallas Cowboys. Can we land them? I'm closing my eyes. Closing my eyes. Oh, we got him. Oh, thank God. Thank you, Lord, baby Jesus. We got both Connor Williams and Leighton Vander Esch. Maybe it is spending the XP on those negotiating tactics. Maybe that's what really gets this over the line. But that is massive. That is massive. It drastically changed how we're going to build this team. Because right now, our top priority going into the draft was getting a tackle that could start. Because Yodny could just, well, I think he's a nice prospect out of West Virginia. Wasn't going to be good enough. Wasn't going to be good enough to protect Trevor Lawrence, especially given up how many sacks we gave up last season. So Connor Williams, only a 1-point hit to make him a left tackle. That's pretty much right on the mark for Colton Miller, who we let walk, and Colton Miller wanted $30 million. I think he wanted 32. I think he wanted the same kind of money that Isaiah Wynn wanted. So the fact that we really got like the same caliber prospect for $10 million cap hit less, that's just smart money. That's smart. And while Leighton Vander Esch might not be, the perfect signing for our squad, we're gonna reshuffle things around here. We're gonna make him we'll make him a right outside linebacker for whatever reason too. I mean, when we play sub packages, Darren Lee's not like, how many tackles did he finish with last season? I feel like he didn't finish with a whole lot. Like 48. For whatever reason, my middle linebacker is not on the field a lot. Clearly, I'm calling a different game plan here. But we'll make Vander Esch go outside for the time being. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson's still going to get plenty of playing time. Actually, maybe we make him middle. Maybe we take a guy like Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. We move him inside. He goes from a 78 inside, probably 75, 76. And then we can take a guy like Melifonwu, just shuffling these guys around. Melifonwu, clearly odd guy looking in. Just because he's getting out there in age a little bit, not really developing. It's actually a bonus for him. So we got better at 2 linebacker spots. But we're getting Leighton Vander Esch. That is insanity out of Boise State. Now, why aren't they adding his neck roll? I don't know. The ratings guy, the Cowboys fan, is also the guy that does the equipment. He's equipment guru. That's his tag. Why we're not getting that badass plastic neck roll for Leighton Vander Esch, who, Tyron Smith on the Cowboys is like the second most famous player that wears it. But it is what it is. So Leighton Vander Esch has the reinforcement X-Factor ability. When they enter the zone, this ability increases their chances of defeating run blocks, tackling runner, and disrupting catches. We have Unfakeable and Enforcer. That's worth the price of admission. That's worth that extra money that we spent. That's worth the XP that we had to spend. He is going to jack guys up. Phrasing, very close to saying something else, but he's going to be very close to jacking guys up. That sounds, there's no way to say that. It doesn't sound weird, but getting those fumbles across the middle of the field. So I'd like to welcome everybody and introduce you, our Thad Castle, our leader. I'm going to have to make him a team captain, Leighton Vander Esch. So here we go. First round of the draft. We pick at 30. So our draft board is not looking amazing, but it's time for us to make a selection. And, if we had to go just cuz, Anthony Swartz from Auburn, one of the fastest players in college, looks pretty good. 7.0 combine grade, B grade catching, 4.3 240. He's the fastest player in the draft. His 3-cone, 20-yard, all look great. But, we're stacked. We are absolutely stacked at wide receiver. We're 4 deep right now, so adding a 5th wide receiver in the first round, I don't think that is paramount. I think for me, we got to grab a guard here. When you look at contracts, guard and tackle are the 2 spots that I definitely think we could save some money at going forward, thinking long term. Of course, for whatever reason, the scouting's broken, so everyone's a first round grade. So we really have to do and dig in deep here. So we got Cardell Thomas from LSU, 46 reps on the bench press is pretty ridiculous for a second round grade. We have Caden Wallace from Penn State, pretty good stats, 32 reps. Cole Schneider from UCF, 34 reps on the day. I think the selection is fairly easy. I think Cardell Thomas, because he's a scheme fit and put up ridiculous numbers. That strength, 46 reps. I'm pretty sure that break a record? That's going to be pretty close to breaking the all-time record, if not shattering it. So I think Cardell Thomas from LSU, the eventual successor to Gabe Jackson, that's going to be the move here for the Vegas Raiders. And Cardell Thomas comes out. Oh, my God, he sucks. 63 overall for Cardell Thomas. 97 strength. We got run blocks fine, pass blocks fine, impact blocks fine. Oh, no. That is not how you want to start out the draft. Well, let's go with the second most appealing guard. If you swing and miss, keep going again. So Cole Snyder was the number 2 looking offensive lineman. Brings some versatility at 6'4". That is, tackle. He could play tackle with that length. So let's see if we can get Cole Snyder out of UCF. Is he any better? Cole Snyder comes out 72. Hidden dev trait. Let's go. Oh my God. Makes up for the bust. I'm not going to call him a bust. 63 is, we could probably still develop him, but there you go. There you go. The next pick, I have no idea where to go. Blaylock at wide receiver looks like best value because he has that A- catching. Not really crazy athletic or anything like that, but the catching looks pretty good. We'll say he's the top of the list right now. Tight. I mean, we're good on the offensive line. I'm not going 3 straight picks on the offensive line. Defensively, I mean, Rumpf from Duke, his skills look pretty okay. The awareness is fine. Tackle's fine. Hit power is pretty much a non-factor when it comes to scouting. Both Brenton Cox and Karlaftis from Purdue look okay, but we can wait a little bit there. Honestly, the only spot that we really need more depth, I think, is at strong safety, because beyond at free safety, we have we have lots of depth there. We have 3 star dev players: Steven Denmark, we have Reed Blankenship, and we have Joyner as our starter. But Carl Joseph's not getting any younger, and I think we need strong safety. I mean, from a value standpoint, these projected rounds are not great at all. I mean, Dorian Hall looks pretty good, 6'4", B+ zone coverage, pretty good hit power, 4.57 speed at 6, but he's a 5th rounder. And I feel like, I mean, this one, Derek Allen from Notre Dame looks pretty good. Helms, you can never go wrong drafting an Alabama safety. 3-cone, 20-yard looks pretty good. 21. How old's Hall? Hall is 22. I mean, this guy here looks like the move, but that's such, I mean, you can't go by round. Sometimes you reach. And I feel like Dorian, I mean, can we get better value here maybe? Maybe trade out? Nah, let's draft best player available that's relative to the round. Blaylock has slipped out of the first round. He's from Georgia. Obviously, Georgia wide receivers don't get a lot of great tape, but he was a 5-star recruit, and just add more depth to the team. He's a 70 overall. Normal dev trait. A 70 overall is a great grade to get, especially for my draft classes where players are incredibly realistic. You're not going to get those 70, 76, 77 guys very, very commonly. And I mean, I think this is version 1 of this draft class, the 2022 draft class. I'm on version almost 3 now. So I have no idea what these ratings are off the top of my head. Obviously, I just drafted a 63 overall player in the first round. But Blaylock, that's solid depth. That is very solid depth right there. We got the 3rd round. I like Brenton Cox here, the Georgia transfer to Florida at defensive end. We're still not going to reach for one of those safeties. We'll wait one more round, and between Helms or Hall, we'll make that selection. So Brenton Cox, next up on the board, 67, normal depth trait, solid. That's a solid pick. We shot ourselves in the foot. All our safeties are gone. So we'll go with the best available looking one. It is Derek Allen from Notre Dame. Looks like a pretty solid athlete. 64 overall. Got some good size to him. 86 speed, 73 tackle, 70 pursuit, 78 hit power. I got to compete for a depth spot. So going to look at our draft recap. A draft that had lots of ups and downs. Cardell Thomas, even though maybe the strongest player NFL's ever seen. 63 overall, man. It's not good. Fingers crossed it can develop nicely, but we made up for it. We completely redeemed ourselves. Cole Snyder at a UCF in the 2nd round, 72 with a hidden dev trait on the offensive line, 90 strength. This looks phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. 2nd round, great value, slipping out of the 1st round. Dominic Blaylock, the former 5-star recruit, 70 normal. We got Brenton Cox, 67 normal. Derek Allen, 64 normal. And then to finish up the draft, I got Sage Surratt. This is how you can tell you the draft classes haven't been updated, because I couldn't remember. I mean, he's been tearing it up for Wake Forest this season, and he's only a 58 overall. He should be much higher than that, but it is what it is. He'll try to compete for depth spot, most likely will land on the practice squad. Then I think finishing up in the 7th round, why not bring the hometown kid home? Tate Martell, Bishop Gorman, maybe like one of the most polarizing high school quarterbacks ever. Trying to figure out if he's actually going to play QB at the U or not or anything like that. But he was still there. Why not? Take a flyer. Our backup right now is Joe Burrow. So that could be a surprising competition there. See who can earn that backup gig in free agency. The rest of the 1st round, just seeing who went where. I mean, we definitely had the worst pick in Cardell Thomas. Honestly, shout out to the Al Davis Raiders. That's what this was. This was in memory of Al Davis making a terrible pick on a guy that's freaky at one athletic attribute. Overshown to the Steelers, he's 71. They got Clay Webb to the Texans, 74. Hudson Henry, Hunter Henry's brother, 73 to the Jags. Leals a 73. Garrett Wilson, 74. 73, 74 for Chris Steele. Going to the Dolphins, who have been dominating the drafts here in this franchise. Zach Harrison to the Jets. It's a huge get. Zach Pickens is a 78 overall going to the Minnesota Vikings. That might be the highest overall we're talking about here. Owen Papo to the Saints. We've seen him in a rebuild. He is a monster. Alfano to the 49ers. It's a great get there. 75 Evan Neal to the Eagles. 75 Spencer Rattler, the Aaron Rodgers replacement out of Oklahoma. I assume he probably won a couple of Heismans at Oklahoma. Nolan Smith to the Redskins. 78 Thibodeau to the Falcons. I mean, he was the #1 recruit coming out of high school. Dax Hill to the Bucks. 78 Stingley. 79 Jaden. How many times you see that? A wide receiver go 1. Tennessee Titans trying to get better. I think Jaden Hazelwood out of Oklahoma. So, pretty good draft. And just highlights, especially at the top end, how bad our selection of Cardell Thomas actually was. That gamble did not pay off, but one that does is betting on football. At the end of a hard week, it's great to sit down, take some time off, and watch some football. Game-winning touchdowns on 2-minute drives, running backs racing down the sidelines with no one to stop them. There's nothing else like the NFL, and there's no better way to make the games even more exciting than to bet on them. So do the smart thing and go to mybookie.ag. No one gives you more ways to win than they do. MyBookie's got the fastest payouts and better lines than any other sportsbook. Don't forget, where you're betting is just as important as who you are betting on, and mybookie.ag is the best in the business. It's where I play and where you should too. Do the smart thing. If you're going to bet this football season, bet with MyBookie. And if you're the kind of guy that likes to bet a little and win a lot, try a parlay. If all of your picks come through, you'll multiply your winnings. And no matter how you bet, the NFL season is the best time of the year. You get a parlay, you get something easy like the Dolphins to help your multiplier. Bet against the Dolphins for sure. Maybe bet against the Buffalo Bills this week with no Josh Allen. Maybe the Tennessee Titans can look a little juicy. And then you take a big upset. Take someone like the Jets over the Eagles if you want to be ridiculous. Maybe not the best way to lose your money. Betting against the Eagles, great way to lose your money. But either way, take those bold takes to MyBookie. Join now and MyBookie will double your first deposit. Use promo code C4 to activate the offer. That's promo code C4. Visit mybookie.ag today. You play, you win, you get paid. Here in the preseason, we will sim 3 of the 4 games. Preseason week 3 is always like the final prep. You know, you play your starters for a full half. We will hop into that game against the Baltimore Ravens. We turn injuries off, so there's no shenanigans. So let's get through the preseason and set everything up for a huge week 1 game, a redemption tour for Trevor Lawrence and company against the Kansas City Chiefs. Awesome. In the preseason, Trent Brown, even though he's been garbage, wants to take John Runyon under his wing. Let's work on that pass blocking, boy. That power. That pass blocking power to John Runyon. I think he's been one of the best guards in football. Falling along the lines of his father. Shout out to Trent Brown for being a mentor.
Here we go.
Oh, Damian Ratley. This is a guy that wants to step up. This is a guy that wants more snaps in the offense. He's your preseason all-star every single year. Opening drive starts it off with a booming 73-yard touchdown. Fuck!
Here we go.
Fuck! Pig slips. Pig slips! John Ross beats Bartlett Humphrey deep. I think that activates Bazooka X Factor for Trevor Lawrence. I think that might be the first time we've activated Bazooka for Trevor Lawrence.
I'm here all day.
Oh, Tate Martell with a dime to Jalen Richard. Let's go. Backup QB battle. Tate Martell, Joe Burrow. Who wants it more? Garbage time touchdown. We got sacked 12 times in this game. You're not going to have a chance when you get sacked 12 times. Going to have to nuke the, or at least buff something. Either nuke the pass rush or buff our pass blocking just a little bit. But in our preseason game, Lawrence was good. 230, 2 touchdowns. Tate Martell came in front of his family in Las Vegas. Almost 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Didn't run the ball well. We had one big run with Josh Jacobs. Richard, touchdown. Damian Ratley, the preseason All-Star, continues that form. 3 catches, 116 yards, and a touchdown, 90 yards, and a tutty for John Ross. Look at this, man. Oh, my God. 3 sacks given up by our brand new left tackle. Same shit, different tackle. Colton Miller, Connor Williams, don't matter. This guy is a pair to be garbage. Trent Brown, a sack. Classic. Hudson, 2 sacks. Oh, my God. Oh, it was bad. We played pretty well. Our run defense, look at all the TFLs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 16, 19 tackles for loss. And we still found a way to lose this game. Credit to the defense. Thank God it's just the preseason, but we need to help out our offensive line here just a little bit. And there you have it. That is how we're going to wrap up this video. As we do every video of the preseason, I'll give you my updated sliders, XP and gameplay. XP sliders are always my own. Gameplay sliders are usually a combination of Mat 10s on Operation Sports and, some, tweaking and adjusting. As you can see, we gave away too many sacks. We've been giving up way too many sacks, so I have tweaked that just a little bit. But here are my XP sliders right now. Slight changes, some 5-point upgrades. I didn't downgrade any XP sliders like I did the very first big update from XP. I knocked them down a lot. I felt like our player progression has been a little slow, just a little bit slow. So we up fullbacks a lot. I mean, the fact that we've made the Pro Bowl 3 times with our fullback, we use our fullback, and he gets 1 or 2 point upgrade. I feel like that's a little bit low for a star dev fullback. So we bumped that. We bumped all the offensive linemen up 5. On the defensive side, I think we bumped up middle linebackers 5. We bumped up free and strong safeties up 5. And I raised kickers to a level playing field with punters at 75%. So yeah, just pause the video if you want to utilize the same sliders that I'm rocking here in the Raiders franchise. Now, gameplay. Here are my gameplay sliders. Pretty much, the modifications have mostly been what Mat 10 has upgraded, minus the pass blocking, which just hasn't been good at all. So we got 50, which I feel is good. That's what he recommends. He recommends 50-50. I'm not quite ready to bite on that. I had this at 30. I'm going to bump it up to 35. I feel like anything higher, man, these QBs are completing I'm still having trouble at 35. With good quarterbacks completing still 85% of their completion percent. It's just something that's going to be, if I had to find an Achilles heel for these sliders, for sliders in general, for gameplay sliders, is trying to find a money zone for AI QB passing to be a little bit more realistic. Everything else on the offense, or player side, I believe stays the same. Defensively, everything stays the same. I think the defense reaction time, no, that's 52. Yeah, it stayed this. My special teams, these are my custom ones. These are completely off the beaten path from Mat 10s, just because I feel like the AI field goal is incredibly weak. So I'm trying to bump them up here just a little bit. He recommended knocking the injuries down to 13, which I think I had it at 18 originally, so I'm trying that out. He has his min player speed threshold, I think it's at 50. I was rocking at 38, so I'll bump it up just a little bit. He says you get a little bit better animations. Sometimes when I'm using a corner and I just completely take a bad angle and it looks weird. He says the higher the speed threshold is, the less likely that's supposed to happen when you switch to a corner and he just gets caught looking stupid. So we'll bump ours up just a little bit. I bumped offsides from 85 up to 90. This is a big determination in a lot of the animations that you get for whatever reason. And I dropped defensive holding down to 45. So again, if you just want to pause it and get these same sliders that I'm rocking, by all means. So that was the offseason for the Raiders here in episode 32. From the ups of landing a franchise player on the defensive side of the ball, finally getting that, we've been chasing that dragon, that illustrious elite free agency signing, because we're Vegas. That was the big appeal of moving to Vegas. Everyone's got to want to come and play for the Vegas Raiders. And we're able to get a big-time playmaker here in Leighton Vander Esch. I want to try to make him a team captain. I'll just do that behind the scenes because I got to figure out who we currently have as team captains, but that's outstanding. And he has Enforcer, which is, along with Unstoppable Force, the most overpowered X-Factor ability, I think, in the game. So that was the ups. The downs was maybe drafting the first bust ever on the channel in the first round in Cardell Thomas. First round selection, 63 overall. That is not good. He didn't get a single point at any point in the preseason. He played half the games. We fell for the strength, at 46 reps on the bench press. I mean, there's a chance he could carve out a role here, be solid depth. But he has that first round pick salary, which is going to be just very, very annoying to work with. And luckily enough, with our second round pick, we were able to get Cole Schneider, who appears to be a much better prospect and a guy that could very well be the successor to Gabe Jackson, which is why we drafted interior offensive line anyways, because Gabe Jackson, well, being 78 and being okay, he carries almost like a $10 million cap hit, and spending the big money on Leighton Vander Esch things are going to have to probably change this upcoming offseason, and he's going to be a prime candidate for that. So you throw in, we got Connor Williams, who gave up 3 sacks against the Ravens. We modified the side to see if that helps my O-line out just a little bit, but he has been less than impressive, even though he was a bargain bin buy, I think. We had a good offseason. Overall, great offseason. I won't say great because the draft pick sucked. Overall, good offseason. I like to introduce to our Thad Castle here in Leighton Vander Esch. We gave Garyon Conley a star dev increase by the recommendation of the comment section. And that's it, man. We are ready for week 1. We are ready for episode 33. Wow, 33 episodes as we get ready for a double header. Week 1 at home against the Chiefs. Week 2 on the road against the 49ers. Which feel comfortable that could be a 2-0 start. But we will be back probably Friday for the next episode. Maybe wait till Sunday. I don't know. Stay tuned. Stay posted. Thank you guys for watching. Can we smash the likes? The likes are super important. Can we get like 2,000 likes for Getting Leighton Vander Esch? That'd be awesome. Subscribe if your first time stopping by, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.
Money I'm spending, I'm out and I'm shopping. You talking that shit, well you talking and talking. Look at my options, look at me dropping. Ass in the game, like who are you stopping? Not me, I never